Welcome, everybody. July 16th, 2024, Mount Pearl City Council Public Council meeting. Council before you. You see our kit in the agenda. We also have some documentation, but I believe the agenda, as you see it in your tablets, is the agenda for the day, and I'll accept a motion. Thank you, Councillor Rice, and second by Councillor Antal. All in favor of the agenda? And those opposed? Carried. Thank you. I see the Deputy Mayor waving her hands too. Good to see everybody. Welcome to a summer meeting. Hopefully it'll be relatively short given the good weather we have, but we do have some business to be done today. But it's also my pleasure to welcome Councillor Lane to the chamber with her newborn. I think it's 5 days old, Councillor Lane? A week old today. My time flies when you're having fun. Great to see you and Nathan here, and congratulations to you and family. And you're pretty busy with it all. Yeah. So, Council, let's move on and read the land acknowledgement. And I'm getting a message that my battery is low. I'm at 6%. I'll juice up now in a second. But the lands acknowledgement, please. We begin today's public council meeting by respectfully acknowledging the province of Newfoundland and Labrador as the ancestral homelands of many diverse populations of Indigenous peoples, including the Beothuk, who have contributed to 9,000 years of history on the island of Newfoundland. Today, this province is home to diverse populations of Indigenous and other people. We acknowledge with respect the diverse histories and cultures of the Mi'kmaq, Innu, and Inuit. We honor this beautiful land together as we strive for collective healing and true reconciliation. Just bear with me, folks. Make this a little bit bigger. July 2nd minutes are before you, Council. Before I ask for adoption, could you please indicate if there's anything missing or there's any errors in that report? Seeing no hands up. Deputy Mayor, you're good. Thank you for joining us by Zoom, by the way. And I'm going to call the question moved by the Deputy Mayor and seconded by Councillor Lane. All in favor? And those opposed? And that, that motion is adopted. Any business arising, folks? All right, hearing none, I'm going to move on to the next portion of the council meeting. And it is with great pride. I'm happy to declare, or council will be happy to declare our support for the 2SLGBTQ1A plus community here today. And I'm going to invite Eddie St. Cyr to come up, who's with St. John's Pride. And naturally, we're at a Mount Pearl City Council meeting, Eddie. We're going to ask the essential question before the declaration. And it's not as serious as the declaration, but come on up with me and I'll ask you, why is it called St. John's Pride?
Thank you, Mayor Aker. Yeah, it's called St. John's Pride just because that's historically how it was put together, but the mandate of the organization does extend out to Avalon and to try and make sure that people within our community across the peninsula have those opportunities to feel safe and that they know that they're welcome and they're safe within the communities in which they live and where they visit and where they do business. You know, we say that pride is three things, and it's what we try and ground ourselves in. Pride is first and foremost a protest. That's what it started as. It started as a protest for people's human rights to exist with the Stonewall Uprising and the Toronto Bathhouse Uprising. And that came to a point where up until 1992, the federal government in Canada still had a policy to rout out and find queer people and identify them and essentially destroy their lives. And we focus on those kinds of things and remember that that fundamental right to exist, and that's something that we stand up for around the world, is really part and parcel to where the origins of this movement are and kind of is where that tenet is. What you folks are signing here today in this declaration and the help and support and the genuine interest from the city of Mount Pearl and from the city staff to reach out and have conversations and say, we want to make sure that people in our community feel supported, but we don't want to tokenize them. There was a real understanding and genuine outreach from the city of Mount Pearl to work and try and figure out these things. And what you're doing is you're creating that protection piece. You're making sure that people in your city feel that protection. And putting a pride flag on your house does that. It says that they're safe in their communities. And then that party piece you're going to be doing as well with Mount Pearl City Days. There's great celebrations that are planned. And we thank you so much for doing all of this. And I know that proclamations and things don't often get as much attention as they should, but they're vital and fundamental to the function of our organizations and our institutions and our societies in which we live. So thank you so much for doing that. And we've already been in talks about how next year we can kind of grow this relationship and how we can move this into kind of a Metro Pride celebration where all kind of the cities that are involved in the greater metro area kind of are able to do their own celebrations. And we're really happy for those discussions. And we're definitely very happy to support that idea. So thank you to all for taking the time to consider this in your city, and for the city staff for reaching out and trying to make sure that people know that that right to exist is fundamentally protected and respected in the city of Mount Pearl. So thank you so much.
No, thank you very much. It's a real important gathering we had at the flag raising last week, and as well as today, right now. So with everybody's indulgence, I'm going to read the declaration. The city of Mount Pearl commits to being allies for progress for the two SLGBTQ1A plus community. We pledge to show up for marginalized people facing adversity and to support the two SLGBTQ1A or IA? IA plus intersex, right, community. So they feel safe throughout our city. We will stand by them, even when our public support exposes us to the hate they endure every day. The city of Mount Pearl states that we will uphold the rights of every citizen to experience equality and freedom from discrimination. We believe all people, regardless of sexual orientation, gender identity, or expression, race, national or ethnic origin, color, religion, age, sex, marital status, genetic characteristics, or disability, have the right to be valued based on their intrinsic worth as human beings. We embrace diversity, believing that a varied population fosters a more vibrant and resilient community. We recognize that despite societal progress, many individuals within the two SLGBTQIA plus community continue to face inequality, adversity, threats, violence, and live in daily fear. We understand that the need for education and awareness remains vital to end discrimination and prejudice. In our workplaces and our community, the City of Mount Pearl commits to providing a safe, comfortable, equal opportunity workplace, promoting authenticity for two SLGBTQIA plus employees, collaborating with and benefiting from the expertise of other organizations and networks addressing two SLGBTQIA plus issues to foster improvement, identifying and supporting leaders and decision makers, both 2SL LGBTQIA plus and allies, who actively strive to create inclusive working environments, establishing and supporting structures within our organization to ensure ongoing progress, maintaining an ongoing dialogue with St. John's Pride and other stakeholders, and continue to work collaboratively towards sustained progress. We encourage local businesses to join us in signing this declaration, showing their commitment to creating a more inclusive, equitable society. Together, we can ensure that Mount Pearl remains a place where all individuals, regardless of their identity, can thrive and feel valued. And I'm going to sign that on the spot right here for now. We'll execute all of that. There's no motion required here, folks. This is a real common sense initiative by the city, by the team at this table, and by all of our community. And we've stated the reasons we're doing it and also the reasons we have to do it. I'm going to invite members of council. Eddie, maybe I'll invite members of council to speak, and perhaps you could sum up your reactions and where we go from here, because I know you're going to tell us about the St. John's Pride Parade on Sunday and maybe some other events, right? I'm going to start with the Deputy Mayor, Nicole Kiley.
Thank you, Your Worship, and it is an honor and a pleasure to have St. John's Pride and representatives here tonight. And just to say that we are coming from an authentic and genuine approach, and I do appreciate the comments you had made in relation to the work we're doing to make sure that this commitment to support um, and understanding that being an ally for progress means pledging not only your support to people from the TOS LGBTQIA plus community during Pride, but all year round. And I think that's so important, is to really understand this on a larger perspective, a community-based perspective, and recognizing the roots of this is community-based, is people who protested and identified the need for better supports, identified inequality, and identified their own personal experiences of being subjugated. So I just wanted to say that you haven't, from this table, from our incredible staff, to the vision and mandate that's been put forth to being a supportive community, you have our commitment to support. And this doesn't just go through community. We look at this as a workplace as well. You know, we employ a significant amount of individuals all across the city. And I think it's crucial to provide really a safe, comfortable, and equal opportunity workplace for our staff. And a part of that is promoting authenticity. So people feel that they can come to work, be themselves, and they have the support of us as council, us as staff, us as a team. And it goes beyond just the workplace, but we will continue to support leaders such as yourself and the decision makers and the change makers in communities. A part of what we will do is identify support for leaders, both in the TOS LGBTQIA community, but also allies that are going side by side, doing meaningful work, genuine work, and who are really striving for inclusivity, because we know that that's intersectional. There's many things that we're facing when we think about making this an equal, safe space for everyone. And we commit to visibility, visibly advocating for enhancement of environments for the TOS LGBTQIA plus community and staff. And that means aiming to ensure visibility across all regions of our operations. It's not simply tolerate, but celebrate all of the work, diversity, and just incredible talent that comes from our employees that are from this community. So we are incredibly grateful for this partnership. And I can't wait to hear more about a larger urban-based, municipal-based Pride event. The larger we grow, the better advocacy and visibility, and we are happy and proud to be a part of that. So thank you for also identifying that as one of the goals. And I think we would help tremendously to be a part of that. Thank you, Your Worship. And thank you, St. John's Pride.
Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor. Over to you, Councillor Locke.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I just think this is a natural fit here, Mayor, with, I know during our tenure on council, talk is cheap, but the city of Mount Pearl, we've always tried to take measures to be more inclusive across all the entire spectrum. So this is a natural fit. I think you did a great job in delivering the declaration here today. And the Deputy Mayor used the word genuine on several occasions, and I truly believe that the saying, do the best you can until you know better. When you know better, do better. And I think that's what's guided this council during my time on council, in terms of making our city an employer of choice, a place that's welcoming and accepting and inclusive. We've taken strides, for example, with folks in the the disability community with, our city events and how we've designed our sidewalks and accessibility in the buildings and stuff like this. So it's a learning process. It's the start of a long journey, no doubt, but I'm pleased with the progress that the city has made to this date, and I look forward to further growth and dialogue. And as we know, we maintain an ongoing dialogue with the queer community and emphasize collaborative efforts toward progress. We reach out to groups, and instead of telling them what we think is best, we like to communicate and collaborate and let them tell us what they feel and they know is best. So that's the approach we take. In your declaration, Mayor, you did mention a call to action from our local business. And I too encourage all local businesses to sign this declaration. It's a collective commitment, community-wide, to inclusion and equity. And this is vital. And it shows that marginalized members of our community, the city of Mount Pearl, is not on. We don't like anyone marginalized. And we want to ensure that the city of Mount Pearl is perceived and comes to be known as a safe place to visit, to live, and to work. We pledge to celebrate Pride each year and support local entities in their Pride celebrations when appropriate. We had an event last year in our City Days. We have another event upcoming. And as Eddie indicated, maybe going forward, and the Deputy Mayor mentioned, there could be a broader metro-based collective here. And of course, we are committed to ensuring the safety of all 2S LGBTQIA+ community in our city and the city of Mount Pearl. And certainly we condemn all forms of homophobia. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor. Over to you, Councillor Fry.
Thank you. Well said, Councillor Locke. Our city will continue to stand by the 2S LGBTQIA+ community, even when faced with hate, because resilience and solidarity are crucial in these times. And one need to look no further than the comment section of any social media post advocating for inclusion. And this is not just in this context, but for women, Indigenous people, newcomers, any marginalized group. And you'll see an abundant evidence of the rising tide of hate. So I just want to be perfectly clear. Mount Pearl is for everyone. We commit to taking action for all marginalized groups facing adversity, and the city will use its voice and influence for progress. Indeed, we all have a responsibility to use our voices and our platforms to advocate for equality. A rising tide lifts all boats. So may each of us play a part in making positive change. We ensure that the concepts of this declaration are embedded in our organizational principles. So what does it mean to be an ally? Being an ally means more than just promoting signs and symbols, but also supporting the kinds of everyday actions that bring about lasting and meaningful change. And this means going beyond performative actions and virtue signaling, but truly living by a desire to make a positive change. This means changing hateful rhetoric when we witness it, and not remaining silent when someone says something problematic. It means teaching our children to be kind, open-minded, and accepting of others, and ensuring that shared spaces in our city make everyone feel welcome. It means putting in hard and sometimes uncomfortable work while we educate ourselves in things. And we may not fully understand, but any action that we can take to make our city and even ourselves more open and accepting to people as they are is a key to building a future of possibilities for everyone. And I know that that's the kind of Mount Pearl that I want to live in, and I know every one of us around this table does as well. I mean, you look at this declaration, there's nothing in here that anybody could say, yeah, me too. This is what I want too. And any one of us, this is not, this is something that shouldn't be. Everybody is people, everybody is human, and this should just be a given. So people seem to feel empowered to say increasingly problematic things out loud, and especially when directed towards the 2S LGBTQIA community, who have been particularly scapegoated for nothing more than an appeal to openly love who they love. And why do those of us who are supporters of equality not feel equally empowered? The 2S LGBTIQ plus IA plus community needs our voices more than ever. And I'm a little bit emotional here. As the parent of a gay child, I am proud to say that they will continue to have my voice.
Counselor Randall.
Well said, Isabel. Anyway, we talk a lot, so you should have a seat. All right. Thank you very much for coming in. I think we all fully support everybody's rights. I mean, here in Mount Pearl, we just don't say, it. We just don't, we mean it. We live it. It's our support is always very visible. When you look around the city, we ensure support of all of our working environments for the 2S LGBTQIA plus employees. Our city leads by example. Right, our community engagement, we have it with the Winter Carnival, we have with the our city events. We encourage community involvement in everything with the 2S LGBTQIA plus community. I'm going to get that down. I'm doing pretty good now, right? All right. We all also, as Jim just said, we ask our residents and business leaders to look at this and sign this and seek for opportunities for public engagement and public participation. Not something we live in, everybody's included, right? And we always celebrate our achievements, and we will continue to celebrate our achievements with you guys, with the 2S LGBTQI plus community. I'll get it down, Platt. And we recognize our roles as a municipality. We have the opportunity to direct impact on building communities that are diverse, inclusive, open, and welcoming for vulnerable minorities. And that's everything for me, and welcome to Mount Pearl. That's it for me, Your Worship.
Thank you. I'm going to turn to Counselor Rice next. Thank you.
Thank you, Worship, and thank you, Eddie, for coming in. I mean, we really appreciate your voice and it's information for all of us. And thank you, Mayor, for the declaration. I mean, you did a great job for the support of the 2S LGBTQIA plus community. But I just want to add before I read a couple of things off paper here. I certainly agree with what Councillor Fry has said. I mean, we around this table, we're genuine people, and we really jump on board in Mount Pearl for support, and we're almost like we bond as a group, and it certainly makes us proud, I guess, as councillors, to support most causes around. And this is a great day here today for the declaration signing, all members of council and the mayor as well there. So, thank you for coming in. And I just want to read out a few things regarding the youth. Get to my paper. So support for the 2S LGBTQIA plus youth. We are committed to supporting the 2S LGBTQIA plus youth, and are always open to discussions aimed at youth empowerment and support. We recognize the intersectionality with the 2S LGBTQIA plus community and the unique challenges faced by individuals with intersecting identities. The community resilience, the declaration supports and strengthens the resilience of the 2S LGBTQIA plus community, which in turn strengthens our population as a whole. Reaffirming our position as city councillors and as in the city of Mount Pearl today, we reaffirm our city's commitment to equality, inclusion, and support for the 2S LGBTQIA community. We encourage continued collective efforts towards creating a more inclusive and equitable society. I mean, we're here to certainly support. I mean, we shouldn't have to be, when we look at it, I mean, people should be treating people the same all the time, but that's not the case. We see it very, when you visit parts of Newfoundland, Labrador, around our country, and we go to the US, you see stuff that, I mean, people are having demonstrations all the time. And really, it should be about supporting every group and each other. So being inclusive and helping each other is really important. And I do believe today is a big step for the city of Mount Pearl. So thank you for coming in. I really appreciate coming in. And thank you for St. John's Pride. And thank you, Mayor, for the declaration. Great job.
Thank you, everybody. And also, To sum up, Counselor Lane, please.
Yes, thank you for being here. Today's declaration reaffirms the rights of every citizen to experience equality and freedom from discrimination. Every individual, regardless of race, national or ethnic origin, color, religion, age, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity or expression, marital status, genetic characteristics or disability, has intrinsic value and deserves respect. And not only in my role as counselor, but also as a teacher, the formative years are very important. And I know as a teacher at a junior high school, a lot of my students, for them, the path to self-discovery starts in junior high, and it can be a very scary time. And it's so important to be an ally and do small things, even just, putting a flag in your classroom lets the students know that they're welcome and you support them. And I've had a lot of students come to me who haven't even been out to their families yet, and they're scared and they're confused. And they ask for advice on, how to tell their families and what to do. And it's important to be supportive and guide them in any way that you can, and just let them know that they're accepted. Because it can make a huge difference in their lives, knowing that they have even one person who has their back and who's there for them. So I think that not only in our role as counselors, but just as people, it's so important to always be welcoming and accepting, and make everyone know that you care and that they belong.
Thanks, everybody. And I also want to acknowledge the support of staff too in helping getting us to where we are today. And Eddie, I think you started off with your discussion with relationships are really important to form allyships as well as to make sure we go off in the right direction. And we can't just stop here at a declaration. I know it's important, but the relationship's important. So what's St. John's Pride got on the go for Pride Week? And, where do you see Metro going? I'll say Mount Pearl for now, but where do you see Metro going maybe in the years to come? Because we are in the midst of, with you and others, your team, establishing a relationship.
No, absolutely. So the Pride Festival, it runs right up until Sunday, the 21st, and it ends with the annual Pride Parade that goes from City Hall in St. John's up into Bannerman Park. And then that afternoon, we'll have 3 stages set up throughout the park. We'll be doing drag and queer art and those kinds of things. There'll be story time. The Newfoundland Research and Queer Research Initiative is also going to be doing a living library where they bring in queer elders and have them throughout the park, and people are going to be able to go and sit and have conversations with these people to hear about what their experience has been like and kind of what that has gone through. Today, we've had to postpone our annual beach fire. That's been going on since the 70s. It's happened on a Tuesday in July in St. John since the 70s. So we are going to bring the event back, but we just, to keep focus effort on Labrador, we did just postpone that, the fire ban, and just to make sure that things stay focused up there. Tomorrow we have a drag panel hosted by Rhea Rollman. She's a local queer historian and local journalist, and she's going to be talking about the evolution of queer life in St. John's and evolution of drag in St. John's. Last week was evolution of queer life. Friday is Drag on George. It's going to be a huge celebration. 10 contestants are going to be competing to be crowned George Street's #1 drag performer for the year. And then there's different events that are going on as well at the university. Pride on Campus is starting that big. And then, of course, the parades on Sunday, which we're super excited about. Everybody gets really excited and has a fun time at the parade and at that march. And we end with that big celebration. And just before we started, actually, because we're finalizing placements for all the different people, found out that our parade registrations are actually up this year. We have a lot of groups who hadn't participated before that have reached out, and a lot of you people spoke about intersectionality and inclusivity. And we made sure this year to work really well and focused on marginalized groups whose experience in life I can't have. I'm not a person of color. I'm not a trans person. I don't have experience in the sex trade, but they're all parts and parcels of our community. And that's why we made really small adjustments to the parade this year by changing policies around display of logos and those kinds of things, and being really clear with people that everybody is welcome at the parade. Everybody's welcome at the festival. We encourage people to do that. But these small adjustments mean that those minority groups have come around this year, and from where I was last year to where the organization is this year, and said, I can see myself in my Pride organization, and I feel like I'm going to be safe and I'm going to be more accepted at my Pride Festival this year. And we've had people of color and Indigenous people participate in panels and everything else. And it's been very, very amazing to see come together. So we have, what are we, Tuesday, 5 days left. So I encourage all of you to get out and take it in. And afterwards, I will sleep for a couple of days and we'll start getting planning so that Metro Pride can be something so great. I mean, what's happening in City Days with Mount Pearl really came from last year with the city and council saying, we're going to do this. And then we ran into each other at an event and you said, you know, we want to keep this going and we want to grow this and make this something bigger. And the city staff reached out this year, and anything that we put on the table, city staff said, yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it. We'll take that on and we'll play with that and we'll make it happen and make it happen in time. And I think that that's so great. And I think it really shows a growth for the city of Mount Pearl because people have reached out to me and saying, we remember a time in Mount Pearl when that wasn't our reality. We remember a time in Mount Pearl when rainbow crosswalks were really controversial, but that educational piece has happened and the city's really pushed that and councillors have really pushed that. And I think the same, and it's the same thing in St. John's. It's the same thing in different parts of the province. And moving ahead on that educational journey is really what we all have to do. And I'm so pleased to see where council is this year, to see where the city is and the efforts that are being taken on. And I can't wait to see what we can do with Metro Pride, with CBS and Paradise and Mount Pearl and St. John's and really make this a huge, huge festival because people from across the province come in to visit it. And we think that it'd be really neat if we can really share that love around. So thank you to everybody for being part of this today.
Thank you very much. Why don't we do a picture together? But I want to say thanks for coming and we'll get this declaration. We've got to ship it over to the deputy mayor who's zooming in. And we'll get it out to you in the coming days. So thanks for coming and thanks for your kind remarks. Thank you everybody for your support. It's really important, right? Let's have a picture with council. Corporate Services, Public Works, Councillor Lane, I believe, is speaking on behalf of the committee first.
Thank you, Your Worship. We're going to start with the invoices for approval. So the committee recommends that the following invoices totaling $5,769,153.24 be approved for payment. Councillor, as you can see there in your kit, and I so move.
Oops, moved by Councillor Lane, second by Councillor Rice. Any questions? Councillor Antle.
Who was going to ask this one? I see the bill for the full year for the regional fire. I thought that was done quarterly.
It is, but we draw down on it. So we put the full amount and quarterly we make the payments. So we'll have to process the full invoice and then make the payments quarterly as they come. So we have to approve the full amount by council and then draw down on it in the payment register.
Yeah, because this is invoices. This is billings, not cash disbursements. Any other questions? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? Contrary-minded? Carried.
Okay, the second thing on our agenda is the payment register. For the information of council, the following payment register for June 27th to July 10th, 2024 totaled $995,515.69, and that was just for information purposes. Okay. And the third item is request for tax consideration. The committee recommends approval to exempt the 2024 business taxes and property taxes in accordance with the policy for charitable and nonprofit organizations for the following: Canadian Hard of Hearing Association, with a total amount of $11,118.83, and the Columbus Center, with an amount of $4,424.11. And I so move.
It is moved by Counselor Lane. Thank you. And thank you, Counselor Rice, for seconding it. Any comments? I'll call the question. All in favor? Contrary-minded, and that's carried as well. Back to you, folks.
And I'm going to pass it over to my colleague, Councillor Rice. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Lane. Number 4 in our kit is our contract award recommendation for collection services, RFP 24-018. So the background on this one is the city issued a request for proposal for collection services for RFP 24-018 on April the 16th, 2024, and closed on May the 7th, 2024, and 4 proposals were received. An extensive review was completed for 4 detailed proposals from proponents. Permits to do this work in the province. 3 submissions were disqualified. The Corporate Services Department recommended that the city award the contract to NCRI. The committee supported the department's recommendation, and at their meeting of July the 2nd, 2024, the committee of the whole also supported the recommendation, and in the interest of timing, we're authorizing staff to proceed immediately with the matter to be ratified at the next public council meeting, which is today. The Corporate Services and Public Works Committee recommends ratification of the approval for the contract for contract services as outlined in the request for proposals RFP 24-018 to be awarded to NCRI for a term of 3 years, with the option to extend the contract in a single-year increments for the maximum total of 5 years at a rate of 8% of outstanding fees collected plus tax. And I so move.
It is moved by Counselor Rice. Thank you. And second by Counselor Lane. Any questions? I'll call that question then. All in favor? Those opposed? Carried.
Thank you. Remuneration for the staff, management staff and council. So recommendation, the Corporate Services and Public Works Committee recommends approving an increase in reimbursement of 2% to the management and staff and council effective July the 1st, 2024. And I so move.
Again, moved by Counselor Rice, second by Counselor Lane. Questions? I'll call the question. All in favor? Contrary-minded? Carried.
Number 6 is our purchase of property at 827 Topsa Road. So the background on this one, at their meeting of June the 18th, 2024, and further to previous discussions of this matter, the Committee of the Whole reviewed the matter of the proposed purchase of 827 Topsa Road, item 219, and supported the offer to purchase this property in the amount of $100,000 and authorized staff to proceed with the purchase in relation to the environmental testing and the minor remediation required to also proceed with the process for demolition of the building on the property by the company with the lowest quote of approximately $34,000. So recommendation of Corporate Services and Public Works Committee recommends approval be granted to purchase the property at 827 Topsa Road in the amount of $100,000, and that the contract for demolition remediation regarding the structure at 827 Topsa Road be awarded to the lowest qualified bidder, which is Eastern Demolition, in the amount of $40,054.50, including HST. And I so move.
It is moved by Counselor Rice and second by Counselor Lane. I was just checking the HST on that, Counselor. Any questions, Council? All in favor? Those opposed? Carried again.
Thank you, Worship. So next one is our information from Council for number 7. It's our Public Works Status Report. The following status report is provided for information only. Under our roads division, our work continues on our asphalt repairs, our litter cleanup, street sweeping, maintenance holes and catch basin repairs, lawn repairs. Our annual bulk garbage collection is concluded for 2024, except for the scheduled pickups. So you can schedule a pickup if you care to do so in any part of the city of Mount Pearl. Just call the number on the city site. Under our Parks Division, we have our work continues on our landscape prep work, which is ongoing. Our flower planters and our hanging baskets are in place. Our maintenance of our sports fields is ongoing. Parks and open space mowing continues. Our Powers Pond Trail upgrades to begin the week of July the 22nd. Site preparation is underway for the installation of playground equipment on Stonegate Crescent. Our commemorative bench and tree program installations are underway. Under our fleet division, our motor vehicle inspections are all on all our heavy duty trucks are ongoing. Service and maintenance continue on our vehicles and equipment. Under our UTM division, our general calls are always ongoing for our plug sewers, service locates, new water and sewer service inspections, our camera inspections, and our troubleshooting as well. Also on our water and sewer repairs, our hydrant flushing is commencing on July the 16th, which is today, 2024, and our leak detection is ongoing. Our valve exercising is ongoing daily. Our catch basin cleaning is ongoing on a weekly or daily basis as well. Our lift station inspections and maintenance is ongoing, and work in conjunction with the PED on our capital work projects is continuing. A lot of our capital work projects now are moving through the city. And our water levels at Baybold Big Pond as of July the 8th, 2024, you can see it is around 37.5 feet. And that's it for our report. Thank you.
Thank you much. I believe Councillor Antle has a question.
Just one question, I got a call on, just one question, I got a call on it there a couple of days ago. The playground over on Stonegate, when will that be completed?
Currently have staff in place right now that are working on the playground. So we had to go through the process of getting the area prepped, to the groundwork, and then ordering in the playground equipment. So it will take some time, but I'll have to give you a secure date. I'd have to wait to give you that after. But we are currently working on it.
Well, it will be done before the summer. Do we know if it'll be done before the end of summer?
As long as we can get the equipment, playground equipment in, I don't see a reason why it shouldn't be.
All right, no other comments about that committee report. Let's move over now to planning, engineering and development. I believe Councillor Antle.
Thank you, Worship. I'll take the first four and then I'll pass it on to the Deputy Mayor. And the first one is Admiralty House, our Communications Museum roof replacement. Contract recommendation. The existing roof at Admiralty House has reached the end of its service life and requires replacement to preserve the integrity of the building and its historical value. The Planning, Engineering and Development Committee recommends awarding the contract for roof replacement at Admiralty House to the lowest qualified bidder, Fort Property Construction, for the amount of $51,865, HST included, and I so move.
It is moved by Councillor Antle. Thank you. And seconded by the Deputy Mayor. Thank you. Any questions? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? Contrary-minded? Carried.
And number two is regarding our electrical maintenance service. In June 2021, the city issued a tender for electrical maintenance service. Upon tender close, it was evaluated and they awarded the lowest qualified bidder, Pro Circuit Electric, on July 27, 2021 for the period of September 1st, 21 to August 31st, 2024 for the total amount of $129,375 HST included. This is a unit price contract and the city only pays for services rendered. And you look at the excerpt from TP-21-023, Part 1, Section Duration of the Contract. The city reserves the right to extend the contract by increments of up to 1 year for a period of no more than 2 years upon the same terms and conditions both parties agreed. So the Planning, Engineering and Development Committee recommends the extension of the existing electrical maintenance service contract TP-21023 with Pro Circuit Electric for an additional 1-year period from September 1st, 2024 to August 31st, 2025 for the annual amount of $129,375, HST included, at the same terms and conditions of the existing contract. And I so move.
Again, moved by Counselor Antle and second, thank you, by the Deputy Mayor. Questions on the extension? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? And those opposed? Thank you. Carried.
And now we have some plumbing services. It was in June 2021, the city issued a tender for plumbing maintenance services. Upon tender to close, it was evaluated and awarded to the lowest qualified bidder, King's Plumbing and Heating Limited, on July 27, 21, for the period of September 1st, 2021 to August 31st, 2024, for the annual bid of $60,375, HST included. Again, this is a unit price contract the city only pays for services rendered. And you look at the excerpt TP-21-022, Part 1, Section Duration of Contract. The city reserves the right to extend the contract by increments of up to 1 year for a period of no more than 2 years upon the same terms and conditions both parties agreed to. So the Planning, Engineering, Development Committee recommends the extension of its existing plumbing maintenance contract, contract TP-21-022 with King's Plumbing and Heating Limited for an additional 1-year period from September 1st, 2024 to August 31st, 2025 for the annual bid of $60,375, HST included, at the same terms and conditions as the existing contract. And I so move.
Moved by Counselor Antle, seconded by the Deputy Mayor. Questions? I'll call the question, then all in favor? Contrary-minded? Motion carried.
And the last one for me, Your Worship, it's regarding 32 Pollux Drive for family care use, DA 24-0226. The city is in receipt of an application for the property owner of 32 Pollux Drive, proposing it to operate a family chair care use. The applicant proposed to utilize a portion of their dwelling to provide regulated childcare services for 6 children. As per the submitted application, the proposed hours of operation are Monday to Thursday from 8:15 to 4:15. The Planning, Engineering and Development Department has processed this discretionary use application as per Section 7.13 of the Mount Pearl Development Regulations 2010. The Planning, Engineering and Development Committee has reviewed the application and recommends the application to be approved and a development permit issued for the use of a portion of the dwelling at 32 Pollux Drive for family care use, subject to commentary received through referrals from the Easy Learning Child Care Development, St. John's Regional Fire Department, the City of Mount Pearl Inspection Services Municipal Enforcement Division, the City of Mount Pearl Finance Division, and the City of Mount Pearl Planning Division. And I so move.
A lot of motions coming from that end of the table. Again, moved by Counselor Antle, who might be out of breath, and Deputy Mayor Kiley. Thank you so much. All in favor? And this is really good for our city. Contrary-minded? Carried.
And now I'll pass it on to the Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Antle, and thank you, Your Worship. I will take the next couple of few recommendations and also do a report regarding the capital projects updates, and then hand it off to the Recreation and Community Safety Committee. So we have first a look at number 5, which is Olympic Drive resurfacing. And it's a contractor contemplated change order number 8 to increase flagger hours and asphalt patching. So the tender for Olympic Drive resurfacing was awarded to Farrell's Excavating Limited in the amount of $798,933.75, including HST. And as part of the ongoing management of the contract, Engineering Services is requesting the approval change order of number 8 to accommodate the increase in flagger hours and asphalt painting. So the Planning and Engineering Development Committee recommends the approval of the change order number 8 for the Olympic Drive resurfacing project, payable to Farrell's Excavating Limited for the amount of $21,375, HST included, and to accommodate an increase in flagger hours and asphalt patching and ISO move.
Thank you. Moved by Deputy Mayor Kiley, seconded by Councillor Antle. Any questions? All in favor? Contraminded? Oh, sorry, Councillor Rice. Thank you.
No, just a question, the $21,375, I know Councillor Antle can answer it or Director Antle. Just wondering, is that outside the contract amount allotted for that area?
Classic question is, can you hear me? Thank you, Councillor Rice. It's within the scope of the contract, as in it's to do with Olympic Drive resurfacing. It's in excess of the quantities that are in those items for asphalt patching and flagger hours. I think, does that answer your question? So that's, when you asked about it, it's within the available budget, but it's in excess to the contract amount.
Further questions? Hearing none, I'll call the main question. All in favor? Those opposed? That is carried. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Worship. And this is our sixth and final recommendation. It's building and occupancy permits listing for the time frame of June 17th to June 28th, 2024. So the Planning and Engineering and Development Committee recommends that the residential and commercial building permits issued for the period showing a total construction value of $1,266,593 be approved, and further that the occupancy permit list be accepted as present. And I just direct your attention to the kits where it is listed, the item, the location, description, and the date of issue for both the building occupancies residential as well as commercial. Just from a quick review of most of these, it's not at all surprising that it's summer. Most of these are a lot of exterior renovations, and when it comes to our residential permits, which is great to see people out and about and working on their homes and within the community. Any questions?
No, are you moving?
Oh, I do. I so move.
Thank you so much. And seconded by Councillor Antle. So the Deputy Mayor has moved the occupancy permits. She's also moved the building construction commercial and the building construction residential. Any questions, Council? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? Anybody against? Motion carried. Back to you, or is that the end of the committee report?
There's one other item, Your Worship, and it's just for information around capital project updates. So number 7 and the last one on our agenda is capital project updates. And giving you just a top-down look at what's happening in our city right now. There's asphalt and concrete repairs. That's work is commenced in various locations throughout the city. A request for proposals for engineering services for the design of Jackman Drive upgrading, and that's going to be issued by the end of July 2024. There's a request for proposals for sanitary sewer modeling to be issued by the end of July 2024, and a request for proposals for storm sewer modeling to be issued by the end of July 2024. On Birch Avenue, there's ongoing top coat of asphalt, and that's scheduled to be placed. We have on Farrell Drive ongoing minor underground work, paving, and concrete. On Carroll Drive, we have ongoing underground and property reinstatement. On Olympic, as previously discussed with regards to change order number 8, there's ongoing concrete and work, and that is almost complete. And then finally, throughout the city, you see line painting that was scheduled and complete during the spring schedule. And I just wanted to quickly note, when we look at a lot of this, and we're talking about projects that are happening outside, much happening on within the roads of our community, just recognize that when you do see a construction zone, that the people working there, that is their workspace. That's where they're working safely, and that is quite a dangerous space to be close to traffic, close to cars. So just want residents to be aware and mindful of those spaces, and keep an eye on speeding within those areas. It's not only just a hefty fine, but it's there to keep our staff and employees safe. And that's all for me, Your Worship.
Thank you very much. Good committee update. I'm going to turn to Director Antle. There's some questions going around at this table and also within the city. The Birch Avenue, I think that job is nearing completion. The underground is done, sidewalks in place, might be a little bit of landscaping left. We've got a little bit of an asphalt cut in front of Pearl House and also the road. So I didn't know if you could provide the public a little update as to where that stands, because everybody's looking at the weather and hoping we get that done soon.
Thank you, Your Worship, and I'd be the first as well to say I appreciate Deputy Mayor Colley's reference to safety. It's the most important thing of whatever we do, and I also appreciate the public's patience. We are, in our terms, lots of times it's beautiful summer and it's also construction season. It's the time that we get our activities complete. The asphalt on Birch Avenue is delayed again. I'm sorry to say that. Right now, it's scheduled to be complete later this week. The asphalt cut on Park Avenue as part of that project was paved this morning, and the rest of the work is indeed scheduled for later this week. And I'll continue to keep you updated, and as we have that information confirmed, we'll advise the public and the residents as well.
So the cut has been replaced or paved over, right? So that probably takes care of the bulk of the traffic that's hitting it at I'll say a relatively high speed, right? But I'm sure the residents of Birch appreciate that by the end of the week, they'll have their road paved again, and hopefully they'll settle into a more normal routine. But anyway, appreciate the update and your due diligence in following up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councillor Locke, please, for the next committee report.
Thank you, Mayor. Ours is brief, just 2 items. I'll take the first, and then we'll finish up with Councillor Fry taking the second. You referenced it earlier, Mayor. The countdown is on for the annual Mount Pearl City Days, July 18th to the 21st. And just to highlight some of the things that we have planned this year, we got an outdoor family movie, the superhero breakfast, Paws in the Park, a multicultural community celebration. I'm really looking forward to that this year. We have a cornhole classic for the first time this year. And of course, we also have a swim-in movie at our Summit Center on the 20th, which is going to be interesting. And of course, we always ended off with our mega birthday bash. So that's just to name a few of the items that are going to be ongoing. I think you said earlier, Mayor, it's 16. It's like a mini Frosty Festival, except in the summertime. So let's hope that the weather is not frosty. Just want to remind our residents and indeed any visitors to our fine city that for further information and more details, they can certainly visit the city's website for all the activities, times, and places. And that's it for me, Mayor. I'll turn it over to Councillor Fry. Thank you.
Yes, I'm looking forward to City Days as well. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful weekend. The last item on our agenda for this evening is the Centennial Park Summer Concert Series. And if you haven't been to one of these, you really, really should go. It's beautiful. It's relaxing. Well, I should tell you what it is first. Join us in Centennial Park next to City Hall every Friday in July and August. And this is a free, family-friendly pop-up concert of live local performances. It takes place from 12 to 1 p.m. And the performance scheduled for this week, July 19th, is Mackenzie Critch. Now, this is weather permitting, but it's such a beautiful atmosphere. It's a park setting. You can bring your lunch and a blanket or a chair and just sit down and enjoy live music. I highly recommend it. And that's it for our committee report this evening, Your Worship. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. We're going to do a quick roundtable. I believe Councillor Locke started the roundtable last time. To the Deputy Mayor, I'm going to turn to you to start, please. We got you on mute at your end, I think, Deputy Mayor. Well, one advantage of going first is we can buy you a little time. So while you work on, because we had you a few minutes ago, as you delivered the report. So if you could just check your settings, I'm going to go to Councillor Antle. We'll come back to you when available. Councillor Antle.
I'll be nice and quick, so the deputy mayor will have a couple of minutes. I don't have too many things, I only have two, and the first one on July the 5th, I'll never forget. The mayor and I attended the grand opening of Fat Bastards here in Mount Pearl. And I thought it was a great location. We went and we talked to the manager, it happened to be Mr. Roberts was there at the time. And you know, such a successful restaurant. And it's great to see new restaurants and opening in Mount Pearl. But I did a little history on that. We got it this morning. They have 80 restaurants across Canada, and Mount Pearl ranks in the top 2 of the highest grosses restaurants. So, you know, Mount Pearl is open for business. Any restaurant wants to come to Mount Pearl, I mean, just contact Mr. Roberts, and I'm sure he'll tell you how successful it is in our city. We support this type of business. All right, it is. And on Monday, July the 8th, many of members of council, we had the great opportunity to go for a bench, a dedicated bench here in the city of Mount Pearl. And it was for Wayne Andrews. You know, and I think we all know Wayne. I tell you, Wayne's been involved in so many things in the city. You had to get to know him. Over my 7 years on council, I think I ran into Wayne, you know, every couple of days. He was always involved. You know, Campy is not there. Campy wouldn't be there without Wayne Andrews. You know, he's involved in soccer, Frosty, City Days, you know, Sports Alliance. There's not too many things. So, you know, when we go see this bench, it's such a nice thing to see in the city that we get to see, and you can sit down and have a chat with Wayne. And I'm sure he'll tell us what we're doing wrong and what we're doing right. So it's really good that we had to do that. It was great to do. And that's everything from me, Your Worship. Thank you. I think the deputy mayor's back up, I think.
Yeah, I just gave Councillor Royce the momentary wait pause question, if you don't mind. Deputy Mayor Kiley.
Apologies for your worship. It was on my side, but I figured it out. I'm going to be quick and brief as well, but I'm happy to highlight an event that has already been touched base with a few times in council, but I think it's such a great one. And just a reminder for folks that the ongoing event that is happening is the Seniors Safe Walk. And it's an incredible event that I find what I like about it is it's an event that engages seniors, but also it's done in an area, Powers Pond, that is pretty accessible and inclusive as regards to walking. So I look forward to joining. I haven't gone myself yet, but I look forward to joining. And what I really enjoy about that is that there's a mug up portion of this, because there's nothing better than a walk and a cup of tea. But I encourage, like one of the things we talked about today is collaboration, meaningful exchanges. I encourage anyone to go on these sort of walks. I think it's a mutually beneficial to walk and engage our seniors in our community, and similarly learn from one another, exchange from one another. And I think this would be a great opportunity. And again, it's one of those things you put in your calendar. It happens every every week, and knowing how some things that seniors are engaging on during the winter months and the early spring months is now kind of waiting for outside the summer time. This could be something to keep you busy, keep you active, and a little bit of fun. So that's it for me.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Back to you, Councillor Rice.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just two small items for me. Just want to mention about our kayaking and our canoe program at Powers Pond. I mean, it's on our city website, and I was up there the other night. I actually dropped up, and it's it's really nice event to have on the go, and it's just want to look on the city website if you really want to go and do that thing. I mean, I don't think there's any charge. I think the council is free of charge. So always stuff that's free of charge is always good. And the second one is our trail closure on Moores Drive area. The residents of Moore Drive are advised that the trail connecting to Columbus Drive and the Ruth Avenue Sportsplex, located behind Mount Pearl Senior High, will be closed approximately 8 a.m. until noon on Wednesday, July the 17th, due to construction in that area. So I just want to mention that as well. And also just want to mention too about Wayne Andrews. I knew Wayne personally as well for many years, and he was a stellar guy and a really, I guess, a rock in the community in the city of Mount Pearl. And Councillor Antle was completely right when he mentioned about the Campia building would never be there without Wayne's hard work behind the scenes. So thank you, Wayne, for everything you've done.
Thank you, Counselor. Over to you, Counselor Lane.
Thank you, Your Worship. I don't have a whole lot to add because, I've been a little out of touch there the last week. Baby Nathan was born on July 9th. And when he was born with the cord wrapped around his neck, and he had fluid retention in his lungs. So as soon as he was born, he had to be whisked away to the NICU. And he was there for 6 days. And, there's nothing more, I guess, heartbreaking than when you have your baby, something being wrong. And I'm very fortunate that for him, it was a short stay and he's home now and he's happy and healthy. But for a lot of parents, the NICU stay can be very, very long. And it's so hard to be separated from your child. So I just want to say to all of the NICU parents that you're amazing, you're strong. And I hope that the end is near for all of you. And also, while I was there, the NICU nurses were saying that they are always looking for donations of clothing from preemie up to 6 months, as well as any blankets. Because while the babies are in the NICU, they provide everything that the baby needs, including clothing. So if anyone has any donations, I know if you're like me, you hold on to the baby clothes and then it piles up in your basement and you're like, what can I do with it? Well, this is the perfect place to bring it because it will certainly get good use and it'll be a great comfort for families knowing that while their baby is there, that they're well taken care of and they have everything that they need. And that's it for me, Your Worship. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Over to you, Counselor Fry.
Can I just take a moment to say how amazing this lady is? She had a baby a week ago and she is here with the baby. She has 2 small kids home. She works full time as a teacher and she's a counselor. Well done. Well done. Sorry, I had to say that because she just amazes me. I just have a couple of things. I was going to also mention about the canoe and kayak program because it is such a wonderful program. And you're right, Councillor Rice. And it's free for people to use. And it does get good use. Now it's also weather permitting, of course, and winds and things. But there's a good uptake on it, and it's something that people can do in the summertime to get out and about. But I also wanted to remind people that there will be some upgrades happening to that Powers Pond Trail. The Grand Concourse are doing some upgrades, so just use caution there. But the park and the dog park and the canoe and kayak program is open. Also, I just want to remind the public that the annual Holy Sepulchre Cemetery service will take place on July 23rd at 7 p.m. There will be reduced traffic lanes on Topsail Road and Black Marsh Road commencing at 12 noon on this day. So just be aware of that, but it won't be long and it's very important. And that's it for me, Your Worship. Thank you.
Thank you much. Over to you, Counselor Locke.
Thank you, Mayor. I won't be long. I first want to welcome Nathan to our chamber. He's a little angel and he made a couple little peeps there, but nothing disruptive at all. Nothing nicer than a newborn and the scent of a newborn. And congratulations, Chelsea. And as Councillor Fry said, you are pretty incredible. So glad to have you back at the table. Yep. Mayor, I mentioned earlier about the swim-in movie. So I just want to inform the residents that on that day, so July the 20th, the public swim at 2 p.m. and the family lane swim at 5:15 p.m. They're going to be canceled that day. And that's to allow us to prepare for the swim-in movie. I think it's a novel idea, actually. And I think Director Collins was at 150 was the numbers we could accommodate there. So it's kind of neat. You can swim in and watch a movie, and I'm not sure what they're going to show. I just hope it's not water related.
Flipper.
Like Flipper. Good. It's not Jaws, which is good. So I'm just kidding. So I knew it was Flipper, so it'll be Flipper. So yeah. No. It is Flipper. It is Flipper. Yeah. Anyway, so that's it for me, Mayor. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, good stuff. Yeah. Just wanted to mention that there is St. John's Regional Fire Department has a fire ban in place. So that basically has a greater impact here, for example, in the city of Mount Pearl, than it would be if it was just a provincial fire ban. I know there's many layers to many bureaucracies and many governments, but the provincial ban is not as stringent as, say, the St. John's regional ban. They put it in place, I think, Sunday. So we just ask for patience of our residents. Please don't go burning. We'll return to wood burning and approved appliances later on this summer. The good news is that the weather's dry, but I think the ban is mostly driven by a resource issue. If a fire were to break out in the metro areas, the support will be needed from forestry as well. So those resources have been allocated primarily to Labrador, from what I understand. And Councillor Lane, congratulations to you, family, Serena, Keith, Max, not necessarily in any order there, you may have noticed, right? But welcome to Nathan. And we had a discussion in your absence about whether will Nathan be Nathan or Nate, but I think it's pretty clear Nathan is going to be Nathan for a long time to come. So welcome to Nathan Lane. Welcome to our world. And it's so good to see that you didn't miss a council meeting and he attended his first council meeting here in the city of Mount Pearl. So make a note. So on recommendation and movement by Councillor Nathan Lane, we are adjourned. Seconded by Councillor Chelsea Lane and seconded by Councillor Fry. Thank you much. Good night.